If you've ever missed the days of arcade shooters like Robotron or Smash TV, or even the Dreamcast era of top-down shooters like Cannon Spike, then Assault Android Cactus is for you. I was very surprised at how well this game captured the arcade feel. A quick intro story that gets the ball rolling, and you're quickly thrown into the action. An android space cop is tasked with checking out what happened to a spaceship that has been inactive for some time. While approaching the ship, she is attacked and crashes into the spaceship, where she finds a few survivors who are also androids, which are looking to escape the ship. Why? Because the ship's robots have all rebelled and decided to take over. With the help of these survivors, you set out to take down the robot rebels and their leader once and for all. The game progresses through stages, and at the end of the stage, you'll fight an end boss. But these stages can get very difficult very fast, and sometimes the bosses are even more challenging. The key to beating them is to find the power-ups that enhance your abilities that can even the ridiculous odds the game throws at you. Power up your gun, power up your speed and agility, and even shut down the enemies so they can't move. Stages will swarm with enemies at every angle, so these power-ups are essential. Boss battles, on the other hand, each have their own strategies, and it will take a while to understand them before you can beat them. The game doesn't pull any punches, and even the first boss can be a real challenge. Before you start the game, you will have the choice of which android you want to use. Each android has a main gun and a secondary weapon that has a cooldown period. These can range from extremely helpful or extremely confusing. Even though I feel that the main character is the best one to use, and what I feel the game was designed for, there are so many androids to unlock that it's fun to see what abilities each character has. But the one thing that's essential to the game is the battery life system. Since you are androids, you need to rely on battery power to keep functioning. The more power you use, the more battery power is spent. Get knocked down, and not only will you lose your power-ups, but a portion of battery power as well. Lose all of your battery power and it's game over. So playing well is rewarded, since you will get much more battery power-ups the faster you defeat enemies. Controls are a little trickier than your usual twin-stick shooter. You move with the left analog and aim with the right. You fire your gun with the trigger, while the left trigger switches to your secondary weapon. I would have liked it if the aim and fire buttons were just in the analog, like other twin-stick shooters, but you'll get used to it. Sadly, there isn't any online co-op, but there is local co-op. If you're playing this on PS4, you can use the share play option to get around this, but you'll both need PlayStation Plus to use it. This is a really fun game to play with friends, as you're both trying to beat the game, but also to see who gets the most points at the end of each level. Though sometimes it can be difficult to see your characters with so many bullets flying around. Also, the game gets much harder with friends, as the power-ups aren't multiplied for 2 people, so you'll have to choose who gets them, but be careful since you both share battery power, so it's beneficial to work as a team and make sure the right person gets the power-ups when they need it. Bosses were tough before, and with 2 players they get even more challenging. But it's an artificial challenge, since the boss will use the same strategies as in the single player, but will have more hit points, so it will take longer to beat him. It can be frustrating when you lose battery power right when you are so close to defeating the boss. Thankfully, there aren't any loading times, so you can get right back into the game and try again. The game can get repetitive at times, with the same enemies over and over, and some levels can go on a bit longer than they should when you're desperately in need of battery life. For most people, this will be the most frustrating thing about the game, not being able to collect the battery power up in time in order to continue playing, only to have to repeat the level and fight the same enemies over and over again. But if you can get past that, you'll find that the level design is what keeps the encounters fresh, as not only are you fighting against enemies, you're dealing with environmental dangers and obstacles as well. I think Assault Android Cactus is a game that feels like you're at an arcade, plugging in those quarters for just one more chance to beat the level. It may not be a perfect game for some, but it really hit that sweet spot that I've been missing for a long time.